I'm just giving you one small one. 2 weeks ago, I was in the UK. Some of the shelves in the shops were empty. Gas prices have shot up manifold, in the country. And you can cite examples. So if these, so-called most developed countries are facing the crunch, then you can think of Africa, with our weak infrastructure, weak, potential.
Because of our bad governance over the decades.
And if, because of these challenges, the military has to take over power, then the whole world will be under military rule. Okay, with the Ukraine crisis and its impact, particularly in the Sahel and other places, is going to be even worse. So I admit that there is governance deficit, okay, all across, our countries, and there is democracy deficit also. People should understand that the democracy, liberal democracy that we know it today, is barely 30 years in West Africa. In the US, where democracy has been there for centuries and other things, Trump still not accepting the outcome of the last results. And there were, foreign interference in the election that caused Hillary Clinton to lose the elections. That's also the external influence. In a country like the US, so I just want to talk about that. But when you come to that, that cool zone, in our country, it starts from the western tip of the, Atlantic Ocean, Gulf of Guinea, Senegal, all the way to the Red Sea. There is a belt that straddles the Sahara and then the tropical Africa, the south, the coastal countries and all that. And all of them are impacted from Senegal to Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad, Sudan. All of them. Okay. So it is not just the Francophone. Sudan is not a Francophone country, for example. And we have to understand one thing. Mali has been the bad boy in the politics of France. Guinea. Guinea was the first to say we are not going to be part of Francophrique by declaring independence in 1958. It was Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana, who bailed Guinea out when the French were even removing nails from doors to make sure that they would punish Secretariat and his country for disobeying them. Up till today, Guinea does not use the franc CFA. They use their own money. Okay, so just context. So the thing is that what is the commonality of the threats in that place? You can talk about governance deficit. It is jihadism. It is terrorism, which is actually afflicting these countries. And as Honorable Nkrumah said, the number one reason given for the coups in Mali, in Burkina Faso, and now in Niger is insecurity. The others are
plus mismanagement.
Yes,
corruption.
Yeah, mismanagement. Yeah. No, they were listing all these characteristics. Burkina Faso's election that retained Kabore for a second term was adjudged by everybody as the freest in the continent. In fact, all the processes leading to that election were consensually agreed among all the political parties. So you cannot say, that the Kabore was instrumentalizing anybody so that he will remain in power. All of them accepted, and all the opposition parties accepted. When Kabore was leaving office, about 35% of the territory was under jihadist occupation. That is one thing we need to know. There were 700,000 refugees, internally displaced people in Burkina Faso. There have been 2 coups since. And what's the situation? Today, 70% of Burkina Faso is outside state control. 2 million internally displaced people from 700,000. 2 million. And you can see that for Mali, you can see that for Niger, where we just recorded an uptick in terrorist attacks in the country, which undermines the fact that the civilians were worse.
You actually issued a statement to condemn that.
We issued a statement to condemn the terrorist attack in okay. So for me, that is the issue, right? And ECOWAS is a rules-based organization, right? At least imperfect, but we have rules. In fact, ECOWAS protocols set the basis for even AU protocols.